Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Definitely appreciate the support. We're going to get into some trip stuff, how the quarters family plays against trips. So right away, let's get into quarters really quickly. And as I've always stated, you want to know where the bubble is. So the bubble here is here, where we get a 3-on-2 deal. Okay, he's reading 1 to 2, the corner, and he's reading 2 to 1. Okay, so we'll look at this guy. If one runs a vertical route, then he mans that route man to man. It kind of just ends his process right there. If one were to run something underneath, like a hitch, well then now he doesn't take him and he gets his eyes on 2. So let's say we get a route combination like this, and he looks to man that route man to man outside leverage. Okay, and the reason why he would play with outside is because he has help to the inside. All right, because the safety who's reading 2 to 1 is 2 vertical, yes. So that ends his process, and he's going to man this route man to man. So in a route combination like this corner route would be doubled due to 1 not holding up our corner who's reading 1 to 2. He only takes 1 vertical. I forgot what they call that. I think they call this a smash call, or maybe they call it under, where the corner would yell under, under, under to let him know, hey, someone's under, so you got to get out to defend this because I'm leaking off to take care of my responsibility here, right? Because you got to think about it in football. This guy, if he's playing with inside leverage, he doesn't have eyes on the back of his head. He wouldn't know that this guy's running a little hitch route, right? Okay, because he's responsible for the flat in that scenario. Okay, now if 2 were to run something underneath, he runs vertical, right? We know that he's matching this route. But the safety who's reading 2 to 1, he looks at 2 as 2 vertical, no, right? So then he gets his eyes on 1 and he plays what they call a rod post dig curl technique or whatever, right? Where he's looking to play inside on the post. If you were to run like a dig or a curl, then he can play inside on all of those to rob those routes inside. And you can see with this route combination, this guy's doubled here, right? So that's the benefit of quarters defense. It kind of adapts to what the offense throws at you, right? Word to the wise, when I look at a defense and how it's coded in Madden, the very first thing you want to do is see how it plays for verts. That's the number one thing you look at, and then it makes it easier to understand how it is coded, right? So when you draw up a route combination like this, 4 verts, okay, this is how it should play out here. And our backside safety is responsible for the vertical of number 3. He's tied in from the backside to the front side when you play quarters. Okay. And then, if you were to make a defensive concept, you want to see how it plays against 4 verts. If you draw 4 verts on the board and you notice is that someone is naked, wide open, then that means the back end of your coverage is compromised. It's not sound, right? So you got to kind of work things out to make it to where they don't get a free player running up the field while running 4 verts, okay? So we can look at this guy. So this is where, yes, it is a bubble here, but we can draw a second bubble like this. So, I messed it up. Let me do it again. First bubble here, second bubble. Gotta include the 3. So yes, it's a 3-on-2 over here, but in essence, this is really a 5-on-3 bubble. We're taking a backside defender, the safety, and he's involved with the front side of the coverage, okay? And it's very important to kind of understand this. So if 3 runs vertical, then I have to match the vertical of number 3. And that's because the safety in the corner is tied down to the verticals of 2 and 1. Okay, the 3 rec, he relates to the number 3, so he wants to get in the window here so you can't get a real quick inside throw by the quarterback and almost pass him off to the backside safety who will take the vertical of number 3. Now, because we're running this 5-on-3 concept, what does that do for the backside? It forces man to man. Okay, I recently heard a guy give a real clever, I forgot what coach, college or whatever, I heard that he calls it like Gilligan, right? So that's something I would put in my language, if I was doing something as far as coaching. Gilligan's Island, right? It's really easy to kind of understand where, oh, I know I'm by myself, I know I'm by myself. That's something you can kind of throw in. You want to make stuff that's kind of easy to understand from what I've seen. Because I've noticed some of the verbiage of the coaches in the coaching tree. It can get, I don't want to say confusing, but it's a lot of stuff to remember, right? So anyways, that's quarters. And then we'll move on to the next one. I believe it's palms. So notice I have this in yellow because it's a full field concept because of what I just stated. It's really a 5/3 concept because you're stealing the backside safety to help out on the front side. All right, so now we're in palms, and what palms does is it shifts that first bubble I gave. In quarters, the bubble is here, where you get a 3-on-2, but it shifts to here. And that allows us to do a lot of different things, okay? Now you are Meg on this guy, and he's Meg, at least the way they have it coded in the game. He's Meg on 2 when you play palms, but we're playing a 2-read concept here. So the safety is reading 3-2, and this apex is also reading 3-2. So he kind of dictates how this is going to play out. If he runs a vertical pattern, then the safety takes him man-to-man because he's reading 3-2. And the corner, who's reading 3-2 as well, when he sees him go vertical, well, then he plays 2 vertical man-to-man, right? When I see this guy going vertical, well, I know I don't have to take him because the safety has him, so then I play man-to-man vertical on the number 2. Where it changes is where 3 goes out. That's where it changes with palms. Okay, so safety's reading 3-2, and when he sees 3 go out, he knows I don't have him. Okay, so then he gets his eyes on 2, and when 2's vertical, he takes that route man-to-man. The corner is reading 3-2. When 3 goes out immediately, well, then he takes him man-to-man. That's where it changes with palms. So in essence, when you think about it, depending on the route combination, when you call palms, it almost plays like cover 2 zone with the bubble, right? Because with a combination like this, wouldn't this look like cover 2 zone, right? He would play more in the middle, right? And there's a reason you may ask, well, why would you call palms as opposed to quarters? Now with palms, it plays like cover 2 zone in that instance. Now, obviously, when he runs out, he wants to be very aggressive on that. Okay. But if they were to run vertical patterns, then it looks like regular quarters coverage, right? So where would you want to play palms? I have videos on that. If you want me to make another video dedicated to why you would play palms over quarters, I can. Okay. But I don't want this video to be too long. At least you know what is happening when you call palms. Okay. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. He's Meg and he's Meg. But pay very close attention to something. This guy is not tied in from the backside of the coverage anymore. He's not responsible for the vertical of number 3. And that's because we've shifted the bubble. The bubble originally was here in quarters, but we've shifted it here. Because the safety now has the vertical of number 3. That makes it to where I'm not obligated to take the vertical of number 3. And what that allows us to do is to do a lot of different things on the backside. He can play deep half. We can have him play curl flat. We can have him double the 1. You can play cover 2 on this side if you like, right? And the reason why this is because, again, we're not taking him to the front side. We're not playing a 5/3 deal as we were in quarters, okay? Because when you do this, it forces Meg with these 2 players, right? We have no versatility on the backside. So that's palms, and that's why I have that in white, because it's a split field concept. This is what Nick Saban would call stubby. All right. So let's move on to the next guy. Next guy is cover 6, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Now, because you know palms, well, when you play cover 6, it plays exactly the same as palms on the front side. We still get that same bubble, 3/2 over here, Meg. But what we've done on the backside is, well, now we're playing cover 2. And we're able to do this because we're not stealing the backside safety to take the vertical of number 3, right? So, again, we're playing stubby on this side of the field, or palms, but we're just playing cover 2 on this side of the field, right? So because it's why it's important, once you learn palms, well, now you know how cover 6 plays against trips. We really don't even have to go over anything, okay? So this is where I show you, hey, backside, front side. So it's now clear now. And then I changed this, the single high, I got that off because we're dealing with really double high coverages here. And now we have backside, front side, right? Full field concept. So it's not really a true split field coverage because we're stealing that backside safety. But when you play palms or cover 6, that's a true split field deal. Okay. Cover 2 is pretty self-explanatory, but I wanted to throw this in here because of the unique thing of our apex here. So you guys know he's deep half, cloud, cloud. He's the 3 rec, okay? But I have him as, I call it 21 vert match or vert hook. And what I mean by that is, I should have threw the numbers in here, 1, 2, 3, is he will actually match the vertical of number 2 if 1 and 2 are vertical, right? So if we were to get something like this, he will actually match this route. Okay. And the reason why that is, if we were to get something like this, where he goes vertical, but he stays under, well, then he just plays regular vert. Okay. And I believe the reason why that is because if you were to get something like this, well, then he would just play in the hook area. Okay. And the reason why that is because if you think about this safety, in this route combination, there's only one deep route. So I'm not being stretched. So I can play a lot more aggressive top down on this this corner pattern, at least in my opinion. Okay, but in an instance like this, now there's a lot more stress on this safety, okay, to where he can get horizontally stretched with both of these deep routes down the field. So to relieve that stress, when you get 2 vertical patterns, it makes so much sense for this guy to match this route to relieve some of that stress and that pressure on the safety. Okay, so keep that in mind when it comes to cover 2, because that plays a part into a later coverage. Cover 6 invert, nothing changed. We're playing palms on this side, right? Everything stays the same. 3-2 read, 3-2 read, 3 rec. Really the bubbles here. And then he's just mag on this guy. And he's playing curl to flat. Deep half is where we invert the responsibilities of these guys as it would be in cover 2, and he's playing vert hook. I believe they call this tough on the backside when it comes to Saban's languages. I believe one of you guys went over why you would do this. And you guys, I want you guys to know, I got a comment from somebody. He told me that when my videos come on, he actually doesn't even watch the videos first. He actually reads the comments first, because there's just so much gold you guys give in regards to information when it comes to the game, and then he'll watch the video, right? So I just want you guys to know, a lot of guys appreciate some of the wisdom you give in the game. And you know, I like that about my channel, to where you can go to my channel and you can get a lot of information from the people who watch my videos, or the people who want to chime in with information, right? So, you know, if you're watching this video for the first time, definitely check out the comments. There's a lot of guys who know a lot about football, know more than me, and they give a lot of great information when it comes to the game, okay? So that's cover 6 invert, but you notice with a lot of the coverages, we're playing the same palms deal on the front side, right? So it's good to know what everybody is responsible for whenever you play these coverages against trips. And I think now we get into cover 9. So there's cover 6. So this is just an example how, you know, on the backside we were playing 2 invert when we play cover 6 invert. You play cover 2 when you play cover 6 on the backside, right? Just to give you an idea, because it kind of gears you up to the different things you could do on the backside when you're playing a split field coverage. Okay, so now we can get into cover 9, and this is definitely a full field concept, because we're stealing the backside safety to help out on the front side. And there's a lot of interesting stuff with cover 9. We have this 21 vert match 2 again, right? So now we know what this does. This is why I put that cover 2 in there, so you should know what he's going to do, right? If we get 2 vertical patterns, he will match this man-to-man, right? He's deep half, and he will reroute and play cloud, okay? What I like about cover 9 is that our 3 rec is now, I have him as 3 inside under. And what that means is, if the 3 goes underneath, then he will just match that man-to-man. Okay, so that plays very well. I like how he actually matches inside under by the number 3, because I don't think he necessarily does that in the other coverages to where I have him as 3 rec. Okay, Our backside safety, he takes the vertical of number 3 inside. That's his first responsibility. Okay, so he should take that. But in the instance to where he runs out, I have it different. It's not a soft post. It's a hard post. He is hard into the post, waiting to take a deep pattern from the front side. Okay, so I think I have a video here that I want to show. Okay, so in this instance, what's going to happen? You should be able to look at this and know what's happening here, right? Now, we're stealing him from the backside. So what does that mean with these two players, right? Well, that's we're forced to play man everywhere he goes, because we're not playing a 3-on-2 deal on this side. That's the benefits of having more than one over the two, because now we can do a lot of different things where we play cover 2. I can double this guy, etc. But when you're playing 2-on-2, well, now you're just man to man because we're stealing this guy. Okay. So with a combination like this, he should take this under. He should be matching this. He should reroute, play into the flat, and then he should be over the top for that guy. Okay. Meg, he should be looking for work, and he's going to play hard post, right? Because he's not taking 3 vertical, because 3 isn't vertical, so he should be in the post. You can take a look at this, and exactly as I stated, hard post, matching that vertical, reroute. What I don't like about the game, though, is when you do get 2 verticals, I would like to think that they should code this guy to play harder towards the sideline. And the reason why is because if you have 2 verts, you should know that you have inside presence with the vert matching this guy, but you should know that this guy is not really matching when you have him in cloud. So why not play a little bit more aggressive towards the sideline to kind of close that honey hole shot, right? Now, obviously, you could put him into a soft squat, and he would match this up the field. That's what I like to do with cover 9. All right, so that's that. Watch the replay. And remember, he was on the back, but since the back blocks, he's now free to look for work. He just plays kind of like in the hook area. But watch the safety here. Hopefully I show it again. I didn't, but he played in the hard post there, right? But he did not match that vertical there because this guy was running with him. Okay. Now let's take a look at something. What if we do something like this, right? So what's going to happen? Well, he's not going to match this guy anymore, right? So he's just going to play in the hook area because we don't have 2 vertical patterns. I would imagine that this corner, how would he know this? You got to think about this too. Yes, it's all inputs and outputs, but how would this guy know that this guy is under if he's playing with inside leverage here, right? That's where you kind of get the under call by the corner, right? Because he's playing outside leverage cloud, and when he sees this guy go under, he should yell under, or whatever call that they have, which would alert me to know that I don't have to match the vertical of number 2, right? I could play in the hook area, so, you know, he doesn't get into it. Because if you can imagine, if I did match this and he played cloud, this window would be wide open for this guy, right? Okay. So he should stay in the hook area. He's going to play cloud. He should match this. But what's the problem here? If he's deep half, this guy would have inside leverage here, right? On a route. Well, this is where this guy will actually take the route, right? Because again, if you remember, it was vertical of number 3 first. 3 isn't vertical, but then he's hard post. Because no one's matching this route, he will take that route. Also, I've noticed that instead of floating off in the deep half, he will actually match the vertical of number 2. Because no one's over the top on this side, so I don't have to expand. Right? So, again, in an adaptive defense, look how this guy's bracketed by the backside safety and the front side safety due to the route combination. Okay. So we'll watch that again. What I don't like, I think theoretically, I wonder if he would, you know, in real life, want to match this guy coming under like that, as opposed to just sitting in the hook area. To me, that would make a lot more sense. And I think you guys can see why I don't like when we don't have some type of matching with whatever defense we call, because it's just so easy to kind of dial up route combinations to where you just high-low a defender and there's nothing you can do. Okay, but that's how that plays out there. So that was cover 9, and as you see, I have that as a full field concept as quarters because you're stealing the backside safety. So I think that is it, unless I have some more stuff here. Oh, okay. So this is where we get into other coverages. Okay, so I have palms here, and this is where you get in the world of playing stump. Okay, in order to play stump, you have to change. You play palms, everything stays the same, but we turn this guy into a deep third. All right, and this is where you get in the world. This is what Saban calls it, stump, where you can do a lot of different things with this deep third corner. You can leave him off, but you can press him at the LOS. Okay, you can kind of give the illusion that he's going to press, where guys may try to dial up a deep go, but at the snap of the ball, he's just bailing to play over the top of that, right? There's different things you can do with that. And here's where I put stump alignment, because I believe in real life, when they play stump, they play with the apex with outside leverage on the number 2. In Madden, they have them aligned inside. So I think that's something we should understand. You may think that it's useless to learn that in Madden, but you know, I like to show you stuff so in later versions of Madden, if they ever get it right, you can know why a guy like this may be aligned outside when playing stump. Okay. So that's stump. Maybe I'll make videos on why you would want to play stump as opposed to stubby and stress and all that stuff. So this is stress, and this is how I play stress in the game. I just turn this guy into a deep third, and the only change is I user this guy, and I play with inside leverage, and I play with off coverage on the number 2. All right, so I put the star on that guy, and this is really where I align when I play it, right? So everything else stays the same. He's mag 1, he's mag 2, he's playing free soft post control. But what we do as a user, we're reading 3 first. He kind of dictates what you do. All right, if 3 goes vertical, then you as this player, you're taking 2 vertical if both of these guys go vertical. All right, it's very important to do that. All right, but in the instance to where we get something like this, you are always taking the under. And that's because the deep third will take the vertical of these 2 players over here. All right. Now, in an instance to where this guy goes to the flat is where things change. This is where you don't have to take the vertical of number 2 because the safety is going to converge over to take that. And this is where you can be aggressive. I like to play in the curl area. And if they throw to the flat, then I go to the flat. I don't expand to the flat now. You kind of wait for the ball to take you there. All right. Trying to think of another route combination we can give here. I've seen something like this. Okay, in an instance like this, 3 is vertical, so you're looking at 2 and 1. And when they both are under, I always take the second under because he just runs into the 3 rec. So this is a coverage you can flirt around with. And you can flirt around with the coverage like this because, you know, when they run like empty, he's no longer involved with this side. They're playing quarters on this side, right? And he would branch out over here with the 2 here. Okay, so they'll play quarters on this side. And again, we're playing a split field coverage in palms. So we're good with the 4-on-3 read over here, and you can play stress. And this is like my number 1 check against empty. All right, so maybe I'll make a video on that as well. So I think that is all of the coverages. I wonder if I have anything else here. Oh, I threw in Seahawk. I'm not going to go over that because you can't simulate that coverage. But I wanted to go over something, guys. I'm not a single high guy. But, you know, I've been looking at... I think there's a way where you can simulate, like, Mable coverage from Saban's single high deal match against trips in Madden. Okay, you guys know that they don't have it in Madden. They used to have it. But if you think about it, we have to call a quarters defense in Madden to get matching principles, and then you can kind of create your own stuff knowing these rules, right? Now, I'm not a single high guy, so if I get the verbiage messed up with Mable, just forgive me on that, okay? But when we combine our logic in the bunch defensive video where we play cover 9 and we use her the 3 rec and we just match the final number 3 from the bunch side, you know, that kind of translates to what we can do to kind of simulate Mable, right? So in Mable, what I know is on the backside, now it's a single high coverage, right? Cover 3, cover 1 type of deal, where we're Meg on the backside, and I believe he's Meg as well. Okay, so nothing changes. When you call quarters, well, they're already doing that against trips. But I believe he plays deep middle, third, deep third. I think he's curl flat. He comes down, and then he's the 3 up player. To where if 3 goes vertical, well, then you have to match that. Okay, well, couldn't we just turn this guy into a deep middle, turn this guy into a deep third, okay? Maybe leave this guy and turn him into a curl player. I don't see, now obviously, you know, the run fits are messed up. You know, it's not going to be exactly like Mable, but this is where you can kind of try to develop ways to kind of simulate it as close as possible, but you have to do it from a match coverage like this because you're trying to get some matching principles involved. Now you may say, well, what about the 3 up player? Well, then you know who the user, right? You're going to match the vertical of number 3 when he does something like this, knowing that you have help over the top. So I've been fiddling around with this, and I created a coverage against bunch to where we're playing like a cloud match coverage, and I use it to deal with routes breaking to the outside from bunch. And I'm able to do that because I know the rules like this, the snapshot like this, and then I fiddle around with the players in it, but I still make it to where it's sound in structure, right? So like in an instance to where we change him to a deep third, we do something with him coming underneath, we can draw up 4 verts, and what would happen? Well, he would meg this. He would apex both of those players. He would play a 3-2 read, so he would actually match this. Inside leverage too. Okay? And then we would be underneath here with a deep post player. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's got to be pretty close. Now, when you think about it, the problem is, because we know the rules, what if 3 goes out though? Well, then he has to match that, right? And we have this guy in a curl area, and we have him in deep third, deep middle, and we're the 3 rec. Wow, I really do think you can simulate Mable, guys. I really do. I know it's kind of weird because he would come down, and we're usering this player, and when we see 3 go out, well, then we can buzz to try to match the vertical of number 2, knowing that we have outside help by the corner. So that's just something to think about, and that's something to implement into your coverage. All you got to do is deep middle third, outside third, and then we'll hook him down, and that's it. And then you use it as player. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you guys got something from this video, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.